If you want to see how I took this 1970s vintage Coach Stewardess bag from this absolute piece of garbage, this thing needed to be rescued so bad, to this true piece of art, hang tight. You are not going to want to miss today's video. Probably my best Coach restoration video to date. Check it out. I love restoring vintage Coach bags. It's one of the most highly requested videos here on the channel. So all week long, I have been doing a 7-part series where I restore a different vintage Coach bag every single day for 7 days. Post the videos here for you guys, and I have saved the best for last. This one definitely needs the most work, and it is one of my favorite vintage Coach bags. Can you guess what it is? It is the Stewardess. Those feet, don't they just say it all? I absolutely love a Stewardess bag, and this one, I'm sorry to say guys, she does not have the strap. She needs quite a bit of love. As you're about to see, we're gonna do a full tour of this bag. Looks like we have some paint there. It's definitely misshapen, but I know we can get this bag looking absolutely top notch. If you've missed the other 6 videos in this series, they are all linked down below. There's also a playlist here on the channel, and I would love for you to explore those. If you love vintage Coach as much as I do, you're gonna love these videos. Before we get into the restoration, let me show you guys around my Stewardess from the 1970s. An absolute crowd favorite, and look, it stands. I actually reshaped this bag in a video long ago, but that's about as far as I got in this restoration process. So it's been a long time coming that this bag really deserves everything we're about to do to it. It looks like there's some paint here at the top. Here on the side, I actually have a pretty necessary repair, and I'm gonna be able to use my repair filler. I have not got to use that Angelus filler yet, and we're gonna be able to use that there. You can see white spots and scratches all over this bag, and didn't I just say the darker the bag, the more it conceals that type of thing? But this one's from 1970s, you guys. It's a 50-year-old bag here. The feet are in pretty good condition. This is brass everywhere, and an interesting thing about this one, that this actually says solid brass USA on the buckles here. I think that this one is so gorgeous. Again, we have that pebbled leather texture that we saw in one of the early 2000s bags. This one does not have a pocket on the back, but it is so roomy and spacious on the inside. Let's take a look. Ooh, that turn lock it's almost stiff. It's definitely not loose. So I'm glad to see that it's not loose. I wonder how often this bag was carried, who it was carried by, if this leather could talk, right? Definitely needs to be cleaned up inside here on the suede. This little pocket is so nice. And it has another tall pocket here. Looks like there's really no surprises inside there. Let's take a peek. Ooh, verdigris there on the zipper. And this is pre-YKK zippers even. This is one of the reasons, one of the things that if you think there's hard and fast rules about authenticating Coach, you're wrong. Because if you were looking strictly for YKK zippers, you're not gonna find it in the 1970s Coach. You're not gonna find it before that. Let's take a look at the creed here and that number. So we have 3-4 digits, 3 digits dash 4 digits here. Now, if you didn't watch the videos before, let me explain to you that the numbers beneath the creed here, that's not a style number. That's not a date code. These numbers are specific just to this bag. And the reason we can tell that it's 1970s is because there's 3 digits, a dash, and 4 digits. So it's a 7-digit number in that order, and that makes this one 1970s. Inside, it's definitely a little dirty down there. We're gonna have some vacuuming. We're gonna have a lot of interior work here. This is definitely the roughest repair I think that we've done all week. And let's not forget, we're gonna have to figure out something for the strap because we can't just leave her like this. And just like that legacy trail that we did, this one has sad puppy dog ears instead of standing upright like it really should. So gonna have to figure out something, but I promise to come up with something great for this Stewardess bag. Is absolutely gorgeous, but she's about to become even more beautiful. It's by far the worst that we've seen, you guys. The inside's actually in pretty decent condition. We will not be turning this inside out because there's just no way. I can't wait to get to the outside, but let's go ahead and clean up the inside first. I'm not going to walk you guys through step by step how to do these because if you've watched the last 6 videos, you already know what I'm going to use in here. You know what I'm going to use on the outside. There are more important things that we're going to worry about on this bag, such as this hole here. So I'm going to kind of breeze through those I will be cleaning the suede first. Here we go. Using a suede brush first and just brushing the suede, and then I'll follow that up with my motorized Clean Kicks tool here with some clear soap and water. This is the area that I'm most excited about getting this off of here. I want to show you how to fix when the purse strap handles do this instead of staying upright. You need to thoroughly saturate the suede inside. Like, this needs to be wet so that it's pliable and moldable. While I'm doing that, may as well go ahead and clean up this area here, but just really ensure that that area is wet. And then just like this one, I'm actually going to fold it inside. I will lay a towel over the top of them, not only to keep them down, but whenever I close this, it'll keep the buckles from making imprints here. But this, during the drying process, will enable those to dry back as they should be. You can tell how stuffed this bag is right now. It needs to be a bit overstuffed to get its shape back. And I'm in a place right now that while this starts to dry and I can tell how it's drying, I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning up the hardware with Brasso. Just shake it, apply, scrub, and wipe off. It's not a difficult process either. This side has not been done yet. Look at this. This side just got polished. Beautiful. Look at that. Onto this side. Now for what I feel like is going to be one of the most interesting repairs of the entire series. We're going to go ahead and pull this buckle back out, and you guys saw that the leather actually has a hole. Well, I guess I'll have to have the bag open. The leather actually has a hole in it here, and you can see the binding underneath, like red stitches. I'm going to start out by just burning off that red thread there. Go ahead and get rid of that. All right, now we can see the hole there. I want to repair this. Actually, before I go in with that, let me go in with this 400 grit sandpaper. And anywhere I want the compound to stick, I'm just going to prep it and lightly sand it. So go out away from where the hole is a little bit. See, there's spots down here too, so we're gonna have to go away from those a little bit. It's kind of like if you were to put a band-aid on this, the band-aid is obviously going to be further than where just the spot is. So in order for everything to blend, if that makes sense. Now the prepper and deglazer, and all that's going to do is take off any factory finish. It's also going to eliminate, there's a hole there too. It's going to eliminate any of the debris from the sandpaper that we just used. So any of this factory finish is going to be taken off here. so that the product has a nice, clean, dry surface to adhere to. And I mean dry, like this thing's gonna need conditioner immediately after this. And that's actually quite a lot of finish that's coming off right there. I wonder if someone tried to repair this spot at one point. I have the Angelus Paintable Repair Filler. It is to repair minor holes and scratches in smooth leathers. So it's not going to have, it's a pebbled leather finish or anything like that unless you give it that. You could always take a piece of leather and impress it on there. Obviously this is brand new. To be honest with you guys, I've never even used this yet. I ordered this in my last Angelus order. I'm really excited to use it, but this will be the very first time. Let's go ahead and get the lid on this. If you don't have prepper and deglazer, you can use a full acetone nail polish remover also. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the product here. It is almost like a thick paint here. I have a second coat of repair filler on here. I've pushed this bottle to keep the strap as it should be. I'm going to let this dry overnight because I think it's going to be too tacky to actually come in and sand it. So we'll check on this in about 8, maybe 9 hours. Cheers, it's the next morning and we have coffee. And I don't know what I was thinking actually pulling this back and letting it dry like that last night. I was just concentrating so much on making this part dry to where it kept wanting to flop to one side or the other, and the crack was, it was there all over again. So I think I am going to start out with a bit of a rougher, I don't want to use a 1500 grit. I'm going to use a 400 grit sandpaper. If you're not familiar with sandpaper, hey, this is a great time to say, the higher the grit, the smoother it is. So if you're going to wet sand something, if you want to polish something, you're going to be looking for a very high grit. 400 grit is about as low as I feel like you go. That's still pretty rough. 600 grit starts to be really, really smooth. So this is about like a smoother side of an emery board. It's not super, super rough like a lot of sandpapers would be. I'm just going to take this 400. I'm actually going to cut a piece off of this. I think that would be a lot easier to work with like that. All right, so now I can take this and I'm just going to try to brush one way, really light strokes, checking to see in between if it's where I want it to be or not, because I don't want to go all the way down to the leather and take off everything that I did. So we're just working with really light strokes here, sanding in one direction. I do think that there's still like a decent sized hole there. So let me wipe that off, get that clean. I'm going to put just a little bit more filler. This area right here is still lacking. So let's build it up a little bit more. The first one I felt like really needed to dry overnight because I was literally filling in a hole and that was a lot of product. You're supposed to use thin coats of this, and I mean, I kept it thin. That's why there's still a divot now, but it was filling in a hole. It really did need some dry time. So this, I don't feel like it's going to take that as long. We'll see. Hopefully not, because this video is actually going out today. And this is the last Coach bag video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. I'm going to let this dry for, I guess it's going to take another 15 minutes. I'll come back. It may possibly need one more coat. This could take a little while this morning. While this is drying, I'm going to actually make a little measurement here because we have to get a new strap. I have a couple different ideas, but I need to know how wide that spot is. There we go. Gonna take this to the store while that dries. I think that first coat I just put on is dry. Let me go ahead and put one more really light coat on, and then guess where I'm going to get my supplies? That's right, the thrift store. I am trying to remember what thrift store I might have bought this bag at, and I honestly don't remember. Like, did I get this thing in the bottom of a barn somewhere? Honestly, it's in the worst shape of any Coach bag that I've ever owned, and I cannot remember where I got it from. It could have possibly been the Goodwill Bins outlet in St. Louis, but I don't know that I would have really seen the potential in this bag at the time that I was shopping there, because I don't go there a whole lot. It's 6 hour round trip. It's 3 hours one way. So I don't think that was it, but I'm not positive. Anyway, give that time to dry. Let's run to the thrift store. All right, that seems to be fairly dry. I did get what I needed at the thrift store. They only had one option because when I walked in, the thrift store here locally does a changeover in the spring and one in the fall. And they basically clearance out the whole store and then put out new merchandise. And everything today was 75 cents or less. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get the belt that I need. There was one option over there. So it might not be perfect, like the perfect choice. We're going to work with what we have today. And then I can always do something else later if I don't absolutely love the way it looks. But hopefully you guys will just love the way it looks. I feel like that is really smooth. Let me make sure over here we don't have any crazies, and then we're going to get out some black paint, not shoe polish or anything else, because I don't want it to transfer. We're going to use Angelus leather paint, and we're going to use Angelus finisher to finish it all off so that this repair doesn't go anywhere. Okay, I'm definitely pleased with the way that is coming along. So this entire area has already been prepped and deglazed, and now it's even had sanding done to it, so I know that it is ready for the paint. I'm using an acrylic paint. This is Angelus black leather acrylic paint. Is made specifically for application like this. That being said, I've used regular acrylic paint lots on leather products. I think it is in the prep work as well as the finishing. These are the best paints that you can get though for this type of application. I don't know that this black is going to match because it may be too rich, and we may have to come in with a bit of gray, may have to dull it down or something like that. Ooh, I wasn't thinking I do have my dull finisher too. This is the belt that I found. It's not quite as long as I would have liked, and I didn't want it to be brown on the other side. That being said, I can stain it if it is a nuisance, but it might be a fun little pop of color. It is just a true belt here. It looks like it's reversible. I'm going to cut this side loose. This will be a little bit shorter than I would have liked, but as I said before, this was the only one they had, and the fact that it's going to fit perfectly in this hole is phenomenal. Now, that's one side. How do we get the other side to be the same? I'm going to show you guys what I'll do. Assuming you have a belt that doesn't unscrew there, literally just cut it at the longest point that you can. There's some wording, sadly, on the black part here, but we're probably going to need these ends to match anyway. So I will line this up. Just kind of use that as a template. I'm kind of in debate because you can see all of this. Should I go ahead and cut it down to here? So I probably should. I'm going to lose another inch at least on the belt. If I do that, that kind of stinks. All right. I thought I might like it because it looked kind of industrial to have something stamped there, but I don't know. It just has like the size of the belt and stuff on there, so. All right, let's grab some edge coat. I'm using edge coat in brown because that's the color that I have. Don't worry, you can stain this and you can paint this after it's dry. So it's almost not a big deal what color you get. If you can color match your bag, that's great. But if you can't, as long as you can go darker. I mean, I guess you could paint it white or something if you needed to. I'm just taking a little plastic tool here and rubbing this edge coat on. The edge coat dries like a flexible plastic. This tool has one job, and I've used it more times than I ever thought I would, to be honest with you. some fun applications you can use for this. Or you can buy one of these simply to poke a new hole in your belt when you need to and make it clean and not have to use a butter knife. But yeah, there are various sizes that you can use. I'm going to take the belt that I just got and find the appropriate size. That one actually looks really good. The appropriate size hole here. Going to line my edges up. You see where we're going with this, right? Just going to replicate the holes. I think if I take a pen and just try to mark, of course, on the brown side, we're going to try to do a mark everywhere that there's a hole. That way they're lined up the same and we have the same number of holes on each side. All right, there we go. And it's centered now. And now I can come in, and these are pretty easy to use. This is kind of a thick belt. It's got a lot going on, and it's not a genuine leather, but I think that we'll be able to poke a hole there. I'm actually just going to kind of mark that. Well, I was hoping that there might be a mark, because it's definitely cleaner if you can go in through the front. There we go. Now we have a clean hole. I'm going to repeat that process throughout the rest of these. I'm going to actually just bore that out a little bit, working it up the shaft of the hole puncher here. All right, now I have holes in both sides of the belt that match each other, and the ends are looking closer. I think I am going to need a little bit more edge coat on this side. Oh my gosh, I thought about picking up the lighter and burning this off, but this is not real leather and I would probably set the entire thing on fire. So we are not going to do that. Not today. You want to know the most ridiculous thing that happened at the thrift store? I found these. Guys, I wanted to put studs on this strap the way that the Stewardess actually is. And I thought, I don't have time for that. I don't have the tap and die for that. I don't have, and then I find iron-on studs. Now, the problem is these are silver tone. So I don't think I have rub and buff, which would work very well. And I know would probably be a lot of y'all's suggestion would be to use rub and buff. I don't have that, but I do have some gold paints. This is becoming the most extra strap in the world. I'm going to try to recolor these and then just use them cosmetically on the belt as studs, because the Stewardess has studs. These might not be exactly the same, but we're going for what the thrift store had today for 75 cents or less. All right, this is what I have. This is Folk Art Treasure Gold. I got this at Walmart. I'm sure I paid $5 or $6 for it. It's kind of similar to Rub and Buff. It is like it's not just gold acrylic paint. It dries with a really pretty luster to it. So we might not get exactly brass tone, but it's going to be a lot closer than these silver ones are. I actually do feel like sanding them may be a good option. And I don't just need 5. I need 10 because there's 2 sides. So There are definitely other options if you have a stewardess that does not have a strap. This is a guitar strap style purse strap. I got this at the Amazon bin store, so I know that they sell them on Amazon. The biggest problem here is that you're just going to be clipping this onto this, and it does slide one direction or the other. I'm not sure how you would get it to just stay put. I think it's a little floppy. You could poke holes if you had one slim enough. This is obviously too wide to fit inside here. So in theory, a guitar strap sounds like a great option, but there are going to be some retrofitting details that you're going to have to address. Because see, as soon as I clip this on, it slides, and now it's crooked on the purse. So if you could get it to stay in the middle, I don't know how you would do that. And I don't really, like, that's a lot of hardware going on. So maybe you could, if you had one slim enough, it could fit through there. But yeah, this is definitely an option. You could rob a strap off of another purse if it had straps and buckles like that. I think this is really pretty. And if you don't have these tools or sewing skills or anything, I think these are less than $10 on Amazon. You can make this work in a pinch. This edge coat is just absorbing into this synthetic material. It definitely works better on leather, but I just keep building it up as soon as that layer dries. Maybe this will be the last layer because this one isn't absorbing quite as quickly as the other ones did. So hopefully this will be the last layer of edge coat I have to put on. I can recolor the edge coat then and maybe glue on my studs. As soon as I get this edge coat on, we will check the paint on the leather repair and see how that's coming along. I think the bag is very near completion. I decided to use shoe glue because this is a glue that's flexible to put these on. Not that those are flexible, but I don't know. It just seemed like it made sense. Perhaps I should just super glue them on and then I won't have any dry time. This listing just so we could look at what the strap is actually supposed to look like. See, the studs have grommets on them. Guys, this bag on Poshmark is $850. It is in really nice condition though. But you just cannot find these replacement straps hardly anywhere. $210 on this bag. And let's take a look again at, ooh, look at the patina there. That's pretty. Oh, it needs a little bit of work. Overall, it's looking pretty good. This one's from the 70s too. There is the look that we need at the grommets. Gonna grab some of this paint and just paint the tip of this where I have the edge coat on to make it black as well. I'm honestly really pleased with how this is coming out. I hope that it all works out in the end. I think as a makeshift stewardess strap, it's really looking good. All right, y'all, it's time to look back and remember where we came from. This is where we started. This bag was so scratched. It was so dry that it looked more gray than it did black. It had few redeeming qualities. There were paint stains on the top of the bag. There was an actual hole in the side of the bag that was visible while you were wearing it. You could see the red thread underneath. The bottom of the bag was in awful condition, so scratched. The hardware, it was very tarnished. Hardly it was even shiny anymore. Even inside this bag, there were stains. Everywhere you turned, this bag needed a lot of work. But now, prep yourselves, because this is my 1970s stewardess now. I know you're in shock over that strap. You did not expect it to turn out so good. And listen, y'all, the Bible says, let no man boast of himself and let others boast. So I'm going to let y'all do it in the comments. I'm going to let you talk about how shiny that hardware looks and that it looks brand new. And in the comment section, you guys can talk about how this thirsty leather has been rejuvenated and is now black again. And in the comment section, you guys can gush over this belt turned into a bag strap for 75 plus 50 cents. Yeah, that's right. Less than $1.50, $1.25 for that new strap and a little ingenuity. The paint, I guess there was some cost to the paint, but I did already have that. I'm just saying, the brass, that the gold paint matches the brass so perfectly. I just want to sit here in silence and enjoy this bag, to be honest with you. It is not often that I am speechless at the end of a rehab, and this one just left me swooning. I do want to make a proper new strap for this bag. Comment and let me know if you want to see a stewardess strap video where I actually take a piece of leather and the appropriate studs and make a new strap. But I think to be able to carry this bag today, this was such a quick an easy strap fix. I hope that someone will try this on their own bag. Inside, the leather looks like velvet. There are no marks left inside this. It is clean enough. I would put all of my stuff inside this bag. It is not often that I actually want to model a bag, but I did want to show you guys just how this lays with the new strap. So here goes. And thank you so much, guys, not only for watching today's video, but for watching and supporting this entire Coach series. I cannot wait to pick a winner. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the last video and you will see the giveaway that we're doing right here on the channel. God bless you guys. Thanks.